Looks like we're ready. I'd like to call to order PPRTA Board of Directors meeting for Wednesday, June 10th. We established a quorum, correct? Okay, we have a quorum. Item 2 is approval of our agenda. I'd like to entertain a motion to approve our agenda for today.
Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Lauren Nelson, second.
Okay, that has been moved and seconded. Anything under question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 3, public comment for items that are not scheduled on the agenda. Anyone here for public comment? Anyone online? Nope. Okay. Moving on. Item 4, approval of the minutes for the May 13th, 2026 meeting.
If there's no corrections, Mayor Dixon, I'll move to approve.
Okay. Second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Number 5, presentation of the fiscal year 2025 audit.
I think Kyle is online.
Kyle Logan, are you online? Are you trying to speak?
There we go. Can you hear me now?
Just barely, a little louder, please.
Okay. How's that? Is that better?
Even louder if possible.
Okay. All right. So, how's that? I've got my mic turned up as high as it'll go. So anyway, I'll go ahead and get started. My name is Kyle Logan. I am the owner of Logan and Associates, the authority's independent auditors. And I'm here this afternoon to present the results of our audit of the authority's 2025 financial statements. Now, in your packet, you have 2 documents. The first document there that you see on the screen, that is called the management letter. I will go over that after we go through the financial statements. So if you will scroll down to page 15 in the packet there, right there, independent auditors. So, all right, so our audit process is made up of several procedures. We pick samples of cash disbursements of the authority, primarily to test your internal controls over money that's being paid to vendors and other parties. We also verify that the costs being charged to the various projects have been, as far as capital, have been approved in the ballot questions to make sure that they're being reported properly. We send out third-party confirmations of your cash and investment accounts, your tax revenues, and verify that what is being reported to us by either the financial institutions or the state is what's recorded in your accounting records. We verify the transportation's revenues with the city of Colorado Springs. We read board meeting minutes primarily to gain an understanding to see if there have been actions taken by the board throughout the year that may have an impact on the authority's financial statements. We also test several balances of the financial statements, comparing 2025 with 2024, and talking with Lisa and Rick as far as why things may have changed to kind of give us an idea of the activities that have occurred over the past year. And so after that process, that gives me a level of comfort in order to issue an opinion. Now, keep in mind, the financial statements, they're responsibility of the authority and the authority's board. Our responsibility is to audit them and issue an opinion. And so following the table of contents, the page we're looking at, the independent auditor's report, the most important part of that independent auditor's report is at the very first, the opinions paragraph. And so for the year ended December 31st, 2025, the authority received an unmodified opinion. Well, what that means in layman's terms, that's a clean opinion. That is the best that you can receive from an independent auditor. Also, what that tells you as a board, that tells you that all the financial statement numbers in this document, all the footnote disclosures are fairly stated and materially correct as of December 31st, 2025. So following the independent auditor's report, we get into the management's discussion and analysis. And this is a required written narrative by the accounting standards. Lisa prepares it and we review it. And it primarily just talks about the activities over the past year, shows highlighted numbers, comparing 2025 with 2024, and then talks about the as far as future economic events that may be the authority may be aware of as of this time. And then following the management's discussion and analysis, we get into page 1, the statement of net position. And this is primarily your balance sheet. So if you would scroll down a couple pages to, looks like page 22 of the packet, we can see there that this is like a snapshot picture at December 31st, 2025 of all the authority's assets, all the authority's liabilities or claims against those assets, and its net worth or net position. And so as you can see there, your total assets are about 36 million. This decreased by about 13 million over 2024, or about 4%. Of your assets, cash and investments make up 91% of it at almost 298 million. And then the accounts receivable, which is primarily your sales taxes for November and December that are received from the state, of about 28 million, or 9% of your assets. Your total liabilities, about 41.6 million. This increased 9.8 million. And again, each year we see this, fluctuate depending on where the authority's projects are, whether we're in the design or engineering phase or in the construction phase. And so during the part of 2024 and on into 2025, we had several new projects that started the construction phase. And so that's part of the reason we had the increase in the payables, because the expenses were incurred in 25, but we're not paid till 2026. Okay. And then the bottom section there, your net position or net worth, 284 million. That decreased by about 23 million over prior year. And that's made up of two categories, your restricted category and your unrestricted. And so the restricted totals about 282.1 million. And then your unrestricted is about 1.8 million. And as you can see there, we have the Tabor reserve of 5.3 million. We have your priority capital projects at about 206 million. The amounts restricted for roadway maintenance for future projects, 33.6 million. And then your transit services at 37.3 million. Okay. So again, that's a snapshot picture at December 31st, 2025. We scroll on to page 2, or the statement of activities. And this format starts with your expenses first and then follows with your revenues. And so we have your expenses at about 199.7 million. This decreased about 14 million over prior year. primarily your capital improvements. Even though we started these projects, they actually decreased by about 17.9 million. That's because at the end of 2024, a few projects wrapped up and we're not continuing into 2025. Transportation decreased about 957,000. Again, there were decreases in routes due to driver shortages, and so routes were eliminated or changed. And then also we had some savings on your fuel costs as well. Your road maintenance increased by about 4.1 million. And again, it's a timing of when maintenance projects are happening within the member governments. And so there was a lot of primarily repaving projects that were occurring due to the aging road conditions during 2025. Okay. Then the middle section there, your general revenues, your sales and use tax revenues, about 158 million. This actually increased by about 1.9 million over prior year. Your transit revenue, 3.98 million. Again, this increased. So even though some routes were discontinued, we still are seeing an increase in ridership. It's still trending up from the post-COVID period. Okay, your interest, 13.8 million. This decreased about 4.6 million. A couple factors here. Well, one, you're spending down your cash and investment balances, so you're not earning as much. And then also the interest rates have changed, reduced by about 1% compared to prior years. So still, you're receiving a lot of interest income. And then we have the cost sharing reimbursements, 672,000. Well, this isn't as much as it was in prior years, just because of, again, the projects that were going on, that we had fewer projects requiring member government reimbursements. Okay, so then we get down to the change in net position or net loss for the year of about 23 million, which decreased your net position by 7%. And again, this fluctuates from year to year, depending on where we're at with projects, as far as whether we're spending more or not. So leaving your ending net position of about 284 million. Okay. Then pages 3 and 4, these are the fund financial statements, which is your general fund. These are pretty much the same as pages 1 and 2. And so they're just arranged a little different than the two front pages. Okay. Then we get into the notes to the financial statements, starting on pages 5, going through page 12. And again, the accounting standards require certain information to be presented that either supports the numbers up in the financial statements, provides a more explanation, talks about the accounting policies and the authority makeup of its member governments, etc. And so the pages 5 through 9, we have your summary of significant accounting policies. Then pages 9 through 11, this is your cash and investments footnote. And again, the majority of your cash and investments are held in Color Trust. And so that's why you're earning the amount of investment income that you are during the year. And then continuing on the last two pages, pages 11 and 12, we have the disclosures of the Tabor Amendment, the administrative agreement with Pikes Peak Area Council of Governments. There is some disclosure of litigation there, but again, nothing that caused a concern from our standpoint as your auditor. We added a new footnote this year, capital improvements, advance allocations. So primarily, the board approved capital allocations for the city of Colorado Springs and city of Manitou Springs to fund in the current year some of the projects that weren't that will be basically allocated from future funding sources, primarily the sales taxes that are received in future years. And so again, that's just more disclosing that making the readers aware that these have been done. It's again not an issue from our standpoint. Okay. And then finally, the last two pages, pages 13 and 14, this is your general fund budgetary comparison schedule. And so, you know, all local governments in the state of Colorado are required to follow the local government budget law. And primarily it's based on, it's expenditure driven. And so it says that the local governments or the authority is not allowed to spend more than you anticipate or you budget for. And so again, that's one thing we look at as we're working through your audit. In all my years of performing the authority's audit, we've never had any issues with this, so that's always a good thing. And so again, that last page there just kind of talks about the authority's budget process and just some highlights there. Okay. Before I talk about the management letter, are there any questions on the financial statements? Okay. So if you would scroll back up to page 10 of the documents. You're almost there. Okay. As we're getting there, this other part of my presentation is what I refer to as a management letter. And so our professional standards as your auditors require us to communicate certain things to you, the governing board. And that's what we're doing here. So on the first page, it talks about my responsibility as your auditors. And then as we move on to the second page there, it talks about accounting estimates, changes in accounting policies, where if there were any changes that would be noted here, significant audit adjustments. Well, we did make an adjustment, but nothing that would cause us to change our opinion on the financial statements. Consultations with other independent auditors, as far as we know, there were none. Disagreements with management. Well, the good thing is there were none. If there were, you would have heard from me before today, so that's always a good thing. And this is also a tool that we use to communicate to the authority of, if there's best practices that we're aware of, or if there's minor issues when we're testing, perhaps like your internal controls or verifying certain numbers, that would be disclosed here. And the fact that there's nothing in this letter, that's good news. What that tells you as a board, that tells you that policies and procedures that have been put in place by the authority are being followed. It also tells you that you have good policies and procedures over the accounting that allows for good, sound financial reporting of the authority. And finally, I want to thank Lisa and Rick for their time. They have the tedious part in this process as far as pulling documents for us to look at, answering questions to, transactions or events that may have happened well over a year ago. So we really appreciate their help in this process, because it from our standpoint makes for a pretty efficient audit. Any questions?
Any questions for Kyle? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, not a question, but a comment. I'm looking at the fund balances and while the numbers don't bother me, the trend is something we might want to kind of keep an eye on because we've gone down from 2024 beginning fund balance of 342 million to ending fund balance in 2025 of 283 million. So it's just something we might want to keep an eye on.
Right, I understand. So we'll definitely keep tabs on that. So, and I'm sure our staff will keep us informed, you know, if we start seeing negative trends and it gets significant. So. Okay. Any other questions for Kyle?
Just a follow up to that point. Off the top of your head, what is our policy on fund balance and percentage? And are we well within that still?
Yeah, I'll just jump in really quickly. I mean, there is, other than the Tabor Reserve at 3%, there's no legally required fund balance. I would actually, are going to say, unlike our personal bank balances where we like to see them grow, the goal here is actually to see the bank balance decreasing because we're spending money. Of course, I'm not the financial one, I'm just the legal one. So Lisa can jump in if I have that completely backwards.
That's correct. It's going down because we're doing more construction. So those funds have already been accounted for in prior year budgets. So it's definitely okay to spend it all.
Yeah, we definitely want to use the tax dollars, but I was curious if we did have policy on the reserves other than Tabor. But if we don't have that, then let's use the money.
One thing I might add is, this was all when the authority was created and the various buckets of monies that are being collected to be spent. Every bit of that is considered restricted, primarily because of the way the approval by the citizens. And so, as Lisa said, these monies are a lot of times are being collected way ahead of when the project's going to happen. And so even from an auditor standpoint, yeah, we do look at that. But again, it's not a concern of ours because that's the whole purpose of the authority, is to collect these monies and make improvements. So we do look at that. But again, from our standpoint, it's not a big concern.
Just to elaborate on what Lisa said, 2025 and still into 2026, we're in a heavy construction time, which means you're paying the construction contractors. You're not just paying for the design engineers, which is the light beginning end of any project. Just think of the large construction projects we've had, the county's South Academy, the city's South Academy, Mark Shuffle, Dublin, Circle, and others. So those are the large checks going out to the construction contractors like Wildcat, Kramer, and SEMA.
So I think it's helpful to say we're collecting the dollars and we're also spending it. So. All right, any other questions for Kyle? Okay. Thank you, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Thank you all.
We request a motion to accept. You're not necessarily approving the audit, but accepting it, please.
Absolutely. And I'll entertain that motion to accept this audit.
Mayor Dixon also moved.
Okay.
Holly Williams, second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. On to item 6, Citizens Advisory Committee, the monthly report. Take it away, Larry.
Larry Tobias, first vice chairman of the CAC. Just like give you an overview of our meeting last week. First of all, we started off with an announcement that 3 new members from the city of Colorado Springs have been approved by city council, And so therefore, the three positions that are on the CAC, which have been vacant for the last couple of months, are now full. So except for one vacant position on the CAC, we're completely almost near full membership. And I forgot to write down their names. Gail, do you remember?
Yeah, the three members are Steve Berg, who sat on the CAC previously, and then we have two new members, John Lynch and Clarissa Stevenson.
Financial report. Lisa gave us a very positive financial report. After 3 months into the new year, we're 8.5% ahead of plan. That comes out to about $2,822,321. All the CAC members were really happy about that. Hopefully that trend will continue through the rest of the year. Lisa presented a mid-year 2026 budget amendment, and it was approved by the CAC as presented. City of Colorado Springs, excuse me, had a positive. We had 3 contracts from City of Colorado Springs. There was one discussion on one item, which was the city had on there for $1.5 million for 4 new pothole truck replacement units. This is covered under policy 24 of the PPRTA and the CAC. It includes funded vehicles for a specific purpose. After review and talking to Corey and excuse me, what they were going to be used for, it will hopefully improve the City of Colorado Springs repair process, because a lot of their trucks are older and when you get older trucks, as you well know, you end up with downtime with them. So this hopefully will increase their response for getting potholes replaced in the city. Those 3 contracts were approved unanimously by the CAC. El Paso County had 4 contracts, and they were reviewed and approved unanimously by the CAC. City of Manitou Springs had 1 contract, and it was approved unanimously by the CAC. City of Colorado Springs Transit Service monthly update was information only. You'll receive that information here at this meeting today. City of Colorado Springs monthly change order and property acquisition report was information only, no questions or problems. City of Colorado Springs Board Policy 31 project summary update was information only. Did you want to say anything about that, Gail, on that one?
I will when it comes up in the agenda today.
Okay. Quarterly reports from member governments. That was reviewed and accepted, and all the members were encouraged to use this document for the next 3 months, because a lot of work goes into it from each one of the member entities. And so it gives a real good overview of where projects are. I know I've used it over the years, in the fact that I keep it until the next one comes out, because if somebody asks me a question of, X road project, where are we doing on that? I can look that up and give them update of where that particular project is. Report of recent board action by Rick. That was information only. Agenda topics for the next meeting and communications. There were none. Are there any questions?
Any questions for Larry or the CAC? Okay, thank you, Larry. I appreciate it. So thanks for your guys' hard work. And I will entertain a motion to accept the Citizens Advisory Committee monthly report.
Mayor Dixon also moved.
Holly Williams, second.
Okay, that's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. On to item 7, financial reports. A, our monthly report.
Lisa Corey, I'm the finance manager for the PPRTA. We don't have a monthly report yet. The reports that I need to put the financials together from DOR have not been made available to me. When they are, I will email out that monthly report for everyone.
Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Moving on to item 7B, fiscal year 2026, mid-year budget and the presentation set for public hearing.
Right, the budget amendment is in the packet. As of now, I'm not aware of any other changes that need to be made. We did not add any new funds for 26. We just used the 25 carryover of 12.1 million. And we will need to set the public hearing for the July 8th meeting.
Okay, any questions for Lisa on the financials and on that date? Okay, if not, I'd like to entertain a motion.
Holly Williams, so moved. H.
Mayor Dixon second.
There we go. Moved and seconded again. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, capital maintenance and public transportation contracts. A is City of Colorado Springs. Take it away.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the PPRTA board. My name is Gail Sturdivant, the City Engineer and Deputy Public Works Director for Colorado Springs. Today, the city is presenting 3 contracts for your approval. The first one is for the Highway Safety Improvements Program grant for 3 trail crossings along our roadways. The PPRTA's interaction review provide the 10% grant match or local match for this federal grant program. The 6 trail crossing locations are included in your memo and provided for you in the map. This is for the construction services for these crossings. The city went through an invitation for bid, and Even Pricer was the low bidder for this work. And the total amount of $394,394. And again, the PPRTA portion is 10% of that amount. City's second contract is for a bridge maintenance project. It is Pikes Peak Avenue over Shooks Run. There is a map included in your packet. This is for construction services to provide a new polyester concrete deck overlay to do some deck repairs and other general repairs that need to be done on that bridge. The city used their on-call bridge maintenance rates to be able to establish the cost an amount of $923,941.80 to Wildcat Construction. The city's third contract is for specialized pothole repair trucks. As you recall, last month I brought 2 contract forward to purchase 2 of those specialized pieces of equipment. As we've been working to increase our pothole reaction, realized that we are really going to need 4 trucks. 1 to go through and address the needs, 2 to review replacements from what we talked about last month, and 2 to handle the growth and the need to be able to address potholes in a better fashion. So to align with the plan, we are asking to increase that from 2 trucks to 4 trucks with a not to exceed value of $1.5 million. So those are the city's 3 contracts. I'm happy to answer questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the city? Okay. Not seeing any. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor Dixon will move to approve.
Commissioner Williams, second.
Yeah, on it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
motion carries. And now it's the county's turn. Take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jeff Manchester, Deputy County Engineer with El Paso County. Before you today, we have 4 items. The first 3 are property acquisition items for a total of $445,000. These support the Highway 105B project. We've included full details of each of those in your packet today. I'm going to move on to the 4th item, but I can come back to any questions on those 3 if you have them. And the last item before you today is for the Mesa Ridge Parkway Improvements Project. It's Amendment 1 to Property Acquisition Services to TRS Corporation. That amount, the amended amount is $15,794. Just a little background on that. The original contract was awarded in April of 2022, and the cost was based on 4 total property acquisitions. Through design, a 5th parcel was determined necessary for construction, thus increasing scope. So contract amendment 1 covers additional appraisal efforts undertaken through negotiations that extended the period of negotiations, as well as hours for acquisition and added third-party review. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions on those 4 items.
Okay, any questions for Jeff from the county?
Move approval.
Move approval, okay.
Mayor Dixon second.
Mayor Dixon with the second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. And B items or 8 item C is City of Manitou Springs, and I believe their presenter is online.
Yes. Hi, it's Karen Rowe, City of Manitou Springs PPRTA representative. We have just one contract in front of you to approve. It's for the contractor for CMGC type of contract for the repair of Lovers Lane retaining wall. So this is just for the initial pre-construction costs to work with that contractor, with Roxall, who's the design firm whose contract you approved previously. And this would be for $92,000. Once the construction contract is negotiated, we'll be coming back for an amendment with this company to do that. And this is Myers and Sons Construction, and they were selected through a competitive process with 2 firms going for it. And with that, I was just wondering if there's any questions.
Does anyone have any questions for the City of Manitou? Okay. What would the board like to do with this?
Mayor Dixon will move to approve.
Holly Williams, second.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 9A, member governments and other reports, City of Colorado Springs Transit Services, our monthly update.
Good afternoon. Line Rail Transit Division Manager, Mountain Metro Transit. In your packet is our monthly report for your information. The first section includes the ridership information, and that ridership information is about 2 months a little behind. So we included the April ridership information, a lot of positive trends. And also April was the very first full month since we implemented this partnership with City of Manitou Springs, as well as City of Colorado Springs Parking Enterprise. So we saw very positive ridership increase year over year on Route 3. Moving to the second section of the report, we included a few highlights. The first topic is our safety committee and the federally required Public Transportation Agency Safety Plan. This is a requirement that was required by the federal agency. Since we received federal funding, we were required to be compliant. And since its introduction, we have seen very positive results from this committee. The committee is comprised of both frontline employees, workers, as well as management from MMT, as well as our contractors. So we receive consistent feedback from the frontline employees, whether it's lighting, bus stops, routes that we need to improve, and we incorporate those comments into how we plan our service moving forward. The second item we included is a project that we were able to implement with the assistance with city's traffic engineering division. This project improves the safety of, if you remember the downtown bus terminal, all the buses pull out of the bus garage onto Kiowa while the traffic continued. And we've had concerns, safety reports from the drivers with the challenge of safely pulling into traffic. So what this project does for us is traffic engineering was able to install traffic signals and control at 2 intersections, Kiowa and Tejon and Kiowa and Nevada. When needed, if needed, a transit supervisor is able to press that button and stop traffic, upcoming traffic, so the buses can pull out before they can continue. So this, we have seen, we have received very positive feedback from the drivers, and really big thanks to traffic engineering. The third item we included is our new buses. We're very happy to share that we just received 6 hybrid vehicles. As you recall, we struggled a lot with parts shortage, nationwide vehicle shortage coming out of COVID. And this is part of that effort, aggressively pursuing vehicle purchase. Since 2022, we have received 29 big buses, those transit buses. And out of those 29, it's a combination of, this is our second round of hybrid buses. We plan to receive another 7. Those are 7 diesel buses before the end of this year. So 36 total big buses. And in addition to that, we purchased 19 ADA cutaway. Those are the smaller cutaway vehicles for ADA Metro Mobility Service. And we also introduced hybrid minivans to ADA service. We were able to purchase 6 van pool vehicles in this time frame as well. So we're very happy to report that we're really seeing that brighter light at the end of the tunnel with our vehicle shortage situation. That wraps up my report.
Okay, thank you. I had a question for you, actually. So with just swapping out the 4 vehicles, what is the 4 buses roughly? What's the maintenance savings just on like each bus? Like, because of the high mileage here, I saw the one was almost 700,000 miles. I mean, that's quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't have that number right here with me, but I can follow up. Yes,
Okay.
but yes, it definitely helps with maintenance cost, major repairs.
Good. No, that's good to know. So, any other questions? On the trends report. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item 9B, City of Colorado Springs change order and property acquisition reports.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Gail Sturtevant again. The city's change order log and the real estate log is available for your packet as an informational item. I'm happy to answer any questions should you have them.
Any questions for the city? Okay, not seeing any. Moving on. Item 9C, City of Colorado Springs Board Policy number 31, project summary.
And Tom, if you could please go to the next page, or the back side of that page, to the table. Oh, it does not show up well on the screen, so my apologies. So what I wanted to offer you today is an update on Policy 31 projects. Just as a reminder, Policy 31 is a board policy that a member government can approach PPRTA and ask them to serve as the applicant or the recipient of state grant funds. And then those services would be provided by the member government to execute those grants. The city has previously obtained approval on 8 grants. I just want to provide an update because there's been some changes, and that's why I asked Tom to pull the table up. So the 3 changes are the 3rd, 4th, and 5th line, which are all highlighted. The first one is for the purchase of the 3 hybrid buses. That was originally coming to PPRTA. That city has changed that, so the city would be the direct recipient. So PPRTA does not need to be involved in that particular one, and we are in contracting with that. The next one is for a pilot on-demand transit services where we received permission for PPRTA to serve as our applicant. That grant program was canceled, so that one's dropping off the list. And the third one is for downtown shuttle operations. That's one where the city is also able to take that on as a direct recipient, so PPRTA does not need to be involved. So just to summarize, there is one active grant. It's for that top line for the Sinton Trail. And the next four no longer involve PPRTA, and then the bottom four are on standby for PPRTA involvement. I'm actually hoping I can get at least one, if not all those off the list as well, but we're doing our best. But I wanted you to at least know, since the board had authorized PPRTA to help us with these projects, want to make sure we're keeping you abreast a couple times a year, just where those stand. Any questions?
Any questions for the city?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. Item 9D, quarterly reports from our member governments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is the comprehensive IGAs require quarterly reports from the member governments. This is what we received for the first quarter of 2026. Be glad to take any questions if you have them.
Any questions for Rick from the quarterly reports from our different member governments? Okay, seeing none. Item 10, agenda topics for next meeting. Does anybody have anything? No. Okay. Item 11 is PPRTA member announcements. Any announcements from anybody on the board? Anything from staff? Oh, go ahead.
Our Green Box Arts Festival is going to be starting up July 4th. It's 2 weeks of lots of activities. On the RTA side of things, we just finished up a paving project. We widened a couple streets and repaved several others, and probably the biggest one was the repaving in front of the post office, which is, for years, we were having trouble with pooling of ice and just having a slick surface. So that's all completed. It's all been striped, and about 98% of the people love it. I think about 2% of the people that are, I don't know. I just don't know.
Can't make them happy.
And your contractor is going to be here at 3 o'clock to get his check.
There we
Okay.
go. See?
Well, they were in town hall the day after, so.
It's all good. Speed and efficiency, right? As good as well and as good as we can. So, okay. Any other items for the board? If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. We're adjourned, everybody. Thank you.